And ladies and gentlemen, it's my great honor to introduce to you a legend, a national treasure, and one of the great civil rights and social justice leaders on the planet, Congressman John Lewis.
Good morning. Good morning. Martin Luther King Jr., my leader, my inspiration, my hero, the man that set our nation free, the man that liberated us all, called us all here today to be of service. He called us all here today to find a way to get in the way. Some of you have heard me say before, when I was growing up in rural Alabama, 50 miles from Montgomery, outside of a little town called Troy. And when I would visit this little town, or visit Montgomery, or visit Tuskegee, and see these signs that said white men, white women, colored women, white waiting, colored waiting. Now I would come home and ask my mother, my father, my grandparents, my great-grandparents, why segregation, why racial discrimination? And they would say, that's the way it is. Don't get in the way, don't get in trouble. But one day, I heard about Rosa Parks sitting down on a seat and refusing to get up and give her seat to a gentleman. She was arrested and went to jail. I heard the words of Martin Luther King Jr. on the old radio, and Dr. King inspired me to stand up, to speak out, and to get involved in service. And for almost 50 years, long before I came to the Congress, a few years ago, I've been trying to serve. So everybody can be great because everybody can serve. You can do it and must continue to do it. We have an obligation, and I want to thank all of the organizations, all of the groups, and all of the individuals that are part of this effort. But we have an obligation. We have a mission and a mandate to leave this little piece of real estate, not just what we call America, but leave this world, leave this little planet a little greener and a little cleaner and a little more peaceful for unborn generation. That is our calling. That is our mission. I first came to Washington, D.C. in May of 1961. I was just talking to my friend and brother here. In 1961, he was born in 1961. Stand up. Don't be afraid. I first came here in 1961, the same year that Barack Obama was born. Had all of my hair, a few pounds lighter, to go on something called the Freedom Ride. Harry Warford, it was the year that President Kennedy was inaugurated, right? 1961. Seemed like it was so long ago. Back in 1961, as a group, it would have been impossible for you to travel together on a Greyhound bus, blacks and whites, on a trailway bus, from Washington, D.C., through Virginia, through North Carolina, through South Carolina, through Georgia, Alabama, through Mississippi, into New Orleans, without the possibility of being arrested or jailed or beaten. We went on the Freedom Ride. 13 of us. We were volunteers. We were servers. We weren't being paid. We just wanted to end segregation and racial discrimination in America. We ended segregation and discrimination in public transportation. And then a few years later, 3 years later, a group of students, young people, participated in the Mississippi Summer Project, teaching people how to pass a so-called literacy test, working in something we call the Freedom Schools in Mississippi. Back in those days in Mississippi, in Alabama, in Georgia, and many parts of the South, people could not register to vote simply because of the color of their skin. And there were many young people who were prepared to put their bodies on the line. And three young men that I knew, Andy Goodman, Mika Schreiner, white, James Chaney, African-American, two from New York, one from Mississippi, went out to investigate the burning of an African-American church. They were stopped by the sheriff, later taken to jail, later that evening, taken from jail, beaten, shot, and killed. And I said to you today, these three young men didn't die in Vietnam. They didn't die in the Middle East. They didn't die in Eastern Europe. They didn't die in Central or South America. They didn't die in Africa. They died right here in our own country, trying to get all of our citizens to become participants in the democratic process. As a generation of young leaders, as a generation of people that are prepared to serve, as a generation that have been caught up in the spirit of yes, we can, following the leadership and the dream of Martin Luther King Jr. and Barack Obama, I want to thank you for continuing to stand up and do what must be done. Continue to serve and never, ever give up. Never, ever give in. Never, ever get lost in a sea of despair. You won't be arrested these days. I got arrested 40 times during the 60s. You won't be beaten and left bloody and unconscious at a Greyhound bus station. You won't have a concussion on the bridge in Selma. But go out and do what you can, what you must, to make our country what it should be. There's a great spirit in America today, a spirit of hope. I believe that we are prepared to travel down an unbelievable road. We are on a journey. And what we do today and tomorrow, it's unbelievable. It's unreal to me. Someone asked me a few days ago, what are you going to do? So you cried so much on the night of the election. So what are you going to do when Barack Obama stand up and take the oath of office? I said, if I have any tears left, I'm going to cry some more. Really. It is unbelievable, as Lyndon Johnson said when he spoke on March 15, 1965, in support of the Voting Rights Act, introduced the Voting Rights Act to the Congress. It is like fate and history coming together. It is unbelievable that we gather here today, this morning, to commemorate, to celebrate the life, the legacy, the birthday of Martin Luther King Jr. And a few hours later, as a nation and as a people, we inaugurate Barack Obama as President of the United States of America. It is almost too much to believe. Sometimes I feel like it is the spirit of history that is descending on all of us. We didn't set the calendar. Another generation did that. Somebody else did it. But it's our time. And do what we can. Do what we must. It is our calling. So I wish each and every one of you well and continue to serve. As long as I'm in the Congress, I'm going to do my part to help make it easier for people to serve and make a contribution to the well-being of the larger society. So keep the faith. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hang in there. It's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. And I know those of you that serve, just continue to do it. And tell your brothers and sisters and your fellow citizens, try. You may like it. Thank you very much.